Blog Talk Radio.
It's day one of the zombie apocalypse. The news reports are making no sense at all, and a rash of people are displaying symptoms resembling an advanced stage of rabies. Conflicting reports talk of mad men and women attacking random bystanders and refusing to stand down after being riddled with bullets by law enforcement, and they continue their assaults unperturbed. Authorities are telling everyone to remain calm and stay in their homes. But fortunately, you knew this day was coming. Now it's time to break out your zombie apocalypse survival guide. Good afternoon. I'm your MC for today, Darth Geekonius, and I'm joined by some of my fellow Black Geeks, Mr. Wonderful, Ghost, and the Potbelly Samurai, on part one of our special edition podcast where we're going to be sharing our thoughts on the zombie apocalypse and what we Black Geeks think needs to be done to survive. Welcome to the show, and remember to call in with your questions or comments at 646-478-5926. What's going on, fellas?
How y'all doing?
What's good? All right, so, it's day one. You hear the reports. Everything is going crazy. What's the first thing you do, Potbelly? Run! Run! So he panicked. I see where this show is going. Mr. Wonderful, what's the first thing you do?
First thing I do? Well, first thing I do is put on my trusted pair of Go Fast on, and for those who don't know what Go Fast are, I put my trusted little sneakers. I put on some sneakers. I put on some, my fatigue pants, and I make one statement only to the fam. Look, it's martial law. Y'all do what I say or y'all all die. I ain't going to do that whole, hey, I'm for the family. I want everybody to be with me. I'm going to die together. Negative. Let y'all know y'all on my team initially, but if y'all mess up, that's your butt, Mr. Postman. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Ghost. It's day one. What you do?
Day one, I lock the door. I check the ammo. I check how much food I got in the fridge. And I pick up a phone and I start calling all of y'all like, hey, this is happening. We got about 7 days of food. So what we going to do after that?
All right, so to recap for the audience here, Potbelly said he's running.
Yo,
Mr. Wonderful said,
keep in mind. Hold on.
I gotta recap. You'll get your chance. Mr. Wonderful says he's declaring martial law in his household. and Ghost said he's going to do the responsible thing and start checking his supplies. I, on the other hand, is sitting here, I probably got a map out and trying to strategize, who we need on the point, who we need in the rear, who's going to be muscle for the group. Now, Potbelly, you said you were just joking. You're not going to just run initially. What you going to do?
Nah. Initially, first thing I'm really with Pharaoh's Ghost on this one. You got to take stock of what you have and try to gather as much intel as possible about the situation and about your surroundings. We all live in a DMV, which is the Washington, D.C. metro area. So we're very familiar with how to get around this area and some of the pros and cons. But I'll honestly start looking down the road as far as, how long I need to hold up for, what the supplies look like and what's my next move. Where am I going next? Who am I adding to the team or cutting from the team? Because I'm going to be real honest with you. I'm kind of like Mr. Wonderful on this one. Yeah, you do what I say, you die. Like, I'm not going to, die because you refuse to listen. Hard-headed die first in the zombie apocalypse. So
now would have been a good time for me to have one of those radio clips where I could have played Arnold. Come with me if you want to. I think you mentioned that earlier. You know how they push the buttons on radio. That joint would have been hot. But we got somebody else calling in from a 917 area code. Welcome to the Black Geeks. You're on with us. Who is this?
Good afternoon. It's Lady K this afternoon.
Oh, Lady K, join the team. What's up, Lady K? So we fine. So we got to ask you like we asked everybody else, Lady K. So it's the first day. News reports is crazy. but you already done been around us enough. You're not stupid. What do you do on day one?
On day one?
Yeah. You know, it's a zombie apocalypse. All hell is breaking loose.
I don't know. I'm caught off guard here.
Wow. She's
Lady K about to be zombie food.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Now look, this is supposed to be the Black Geeks. We're supposed to break the stereotype, people. So let's have some very coherent answers. I'm leaning on you, Ghost, because you're the survivalist on the team. And for those who don't know, maybe you've been reading Ghost post on the blackgeeks.com, but he is a full-blooded actual survivalist. He may even be forming a militia. So, you know, if the FBI is listening to this, But seriously, you know, a lot of people, the stereotype is that we going to all run and be screaming. You know how they, and we don't know what we're running for. We just be like, say, what we running from again, like 10 blocks down the road?
Yeah, right. What the hell we running from? That's hilarious. For real. I guess the basic thing is, first of all, y'all stop trying to abandon your family because they don't want to listen to you because they're going to be panicked. In a short, just, you know, make sure you know who's in your team. You're going to have some people that just screw up because they're scared. Could you imagine walking in the street and some grown man grabs some other person and just bite a chunk out of their face? That's just like crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is it's happened already.
Right. And we still
and that's
talk
what
about that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, at this point, we should be numb to the foolishness. We already had some dude eat people. We have like a history of like at least 50 people that's trying to keep up with people. So it's not
honestly,
like,
let's be real honest here too. Like, we're all, relatively speaking, from the Northeast, and we all are, relatively speaking, in the same age group. We lived through the crack epidemic and the burnt and bombed out neighborhoods and all the drama. Like, dude, we know what this looked like. This is not anything unfamiliar here. You replace a crackhead that already looked like a zombie with a regular zombie, and it's 1984 all over again. So,
absolutely.
You know, let's be real honest about this. We're not unfamiliar with this territory, outside of the fact that we read so much in the genre anyway.
This is true, but I don't know about y'all, but I always try to befriend the crackheads so they don't rob me.
You know y'all laughing. Y'all laughing, but for those of y'all out there,
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we all know. I mean, you know, we watch a lot of the shows and we see the walking zombies, and Dog Egonius might not agree with this, but the real zombies are going to chase you. They're going to run. It's going to be the crackhead. It's going to be the destitute. It's going to be all of those guys that need something, no matter what it is, and they're going to come after you to get it. So,
all right.
You know,
so I should be carrying some fierce ammo then.
Well, listen, I've been
telling y'all, and Ghost, you can chime in on this one too. I've been telling y'all to get y'all sword game up. Y'all got to get y'all close combat game up. Bullets run out. You scavenging for bullets and things like that. You know, guns jam up. Yo, your sword is always going cut.
And let's talk about where your
unless you get your fingers broken. And you ask.
Right. But keep the science. Listen to this. You know, Potbelly is right. You know, we need to learn how to swing something. A guy got on the site and asked me a question about the katana, and I had to be honest with him. You know, I think it's an excellent, absolutely excellent tool to have. But if you swing it the wrong way, or if you pull it out the wrong way, then it's useless because your hand is going to be on the floor with the sword. Am I correct, Potbelly?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Absolutely
you
right.
Know,
so
it's funny. How many people on here ever read the Zombie Survival Guide by Max Brooks? Anybody outside of me and Mr. Wonderful? Oh, you read it too, right?
It's going to be all right.
No, that's World War Z. That's the second book.
All right.
Yeah, but he actually wrote a book before that one called the Zombie Survival Guide. And he actually goes through all of this. He goes through like a whole medical thing that breaks down zombie composition using medical terms. But then he goes through this whole section about weapons, what makes the best weapon. And he was like the number one weapon was like a katana. He said that, and he said the same thing you guys said, which was the biggest risk to a katana is if you don't know how to use it, that's the problem. He said, but if you know how to use it, it could be the best weapon in the zombie apocalypse because it's lightweight, it's sharp as hell, it's quick and silent. Because of course, in many of these zombie universes, you don't want to make any noise. Which, if you watch The Walking Dead, they done brought up some of these issues we even talked about. Like, for instance, we made a joke about family, but what if you got an infant? What do? You can't make any noise. Zombies are all around you, and you're trying to keep it low.
They make this stuff called Benadryl.
What did you say, Lady K? Did you say leave them?
I said leave them.
Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy.
It's gonna be too hard to carry some baby around. Then you gotta. What if the mom is dead? Hello, Dad. You can't produce no milk. What you gonna feed this baby? Just leave him. Let him be zombie food. Move on with your life.
Hey, I think. Yo, not joking. But I think one of the things that is going to decide who makes it is how many people adjust to the new reality quickest.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like y'all talking this, you can hear it right now.
Sounds like y'all read my most recent article.
Well, listen,
when I say, hey, when Lady K says leave the baby, so for anybody listening, for those that said, oh my gosh, you've just been eliminated from life. You're dead. Okay, you're gonna die because you're not thinking clearly right now. So you're either saying one or two things: either you got the baby and you want to die with the baby, or you're gonna be like, hey, I'm sad.
All right. So rule number one: no humping in the zombie apocalypse.
No, now wait a minute.
You can either do that or always keep the wife.
Hey,
it's up to y'all.
Wait. Nobody said you can't get no TNA. I'm just saying.
Wow.
You better pull out.
No one ever said that.
Stop playing. In reality, you can't.
Y'all are killing me.
So look. So while you got your bag. While you got your book bag and you got your granola bars and your ammo in there, make sure you throw some Durex and some roaches in there.
Yeah, right? Hey, I'll tell you the truth. Some Durex, man.
What do people use? They use the rhythm method. You better figure that ish out.
Wait a minute. So Lady K is making sure for all y'all don't know what she's talking about. That means you also got to pay attention to her cycle.
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Rhythm Method is some BS. I might as well have named my daughter Rhythm Method. That joint don't work.
It worked for the first 4.5 years.
Uh-oh.
And just like you got caught slipping, you got too comfortable. That's what I'm saying. Now you got to be aware. You got to be aware at all times. You know what I'm saying?
But it's funny we brought this up because this is actually going on the current season of Walking Dead. They got this little baby, and it's kind of unrealistic. Like, what are they going to do? And moms are dead, so they have to try to find formula in the zombie apocalypse.
Right now,
it's like year 2 or something.
The thing with them is they're in a place where they're stationary. They're stationary, so they ain't really on some high stuff. You know what I mean? When it gets dangerous is if you get on the road. Now you just got to be real. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you get on the road and you on the move and you constantly ducking and diving and hiding and whatnot, now it gets real. You can't afford to talk in the choir and the crying. You can't afford it. So
let me ask you this:
unless you want to dope it up and put it to sleep every now and again, and have a dang half retarded baby. Now what
hey, they make this stuff called Benadryl. A little swipe across the lips, they go right the hell asleep. But on a serious note,
that's what you want to do. But like I said, all things is different or whatever.
Let's talk about the running and the the nomadic sort of form of life that you start to live once you out in the world and you're running. So where you have to have a destination because or you wouldn't be running, right? So what do you guys think about where do you?
When I say running, it comes to one or two things. We can either all turn into Jermaine and just be one with the wilderness, in which case you ain't really running, you're just kind of moving around. You know what
No,
I'm
you
saying?
can't even do that, right? Because they walking all over the place.
Because they walking all over. So it's all about.
And we did mean ghosts, didn't we? Just making sure, But, we don't have technology to go back and put like little blurry noises around that.
Go.
So the real thing is you need to have a place to go. I know, like in the survivalist community, a lot of these guys, they talk about bug out bags and vehicles and places to go. So say we get to the point, like I said in the beginning, I lock my door, I have 7 days of food, that food starts to run low. I have a couple of choices. I bow hunt, so I can get out there and hunt, but now I got to fight through the zombies to go into the woods so I could go hunt, right? That's all gravy. Now you got to get back. What if that horde is there, like in the show? So the idea that I'm speaking of is basically you got 7 days of food. Day 5, you pack up the last 2 days of food. You get your peoples. You say, hey, we getting out on the road, and we all make a meeting place, and we have to have a place to go, because in the show, as great as it is, they're constantly on the move, and then they wind up sitting someplace for a couple of days, and then they have to move again, because the reality is when the zombies come, they're gonna be looking for if they see an abandoned house, they're gonna be looking for something, right?
Yo, real talk, and Ghost and Pharaoh's Ghost and I have had this conversation before. I think I had this conversation with Darth Geekonian as well. Like, you have to start looking at this thing strategically, like from down all the way down from your grab bag to what vehicles you're gonna have, where you're gonna go. I was talking to Lady K earlier today. Basically, she had a friend who, she was talking about this with, and he was like, yo, pack up, a bunch of canned foods and things like that. I'm like, that makes no sense. That stuff is really, really heavy. So you carrying around canned foods, not only is it heavy, it also makes noise moving around in your pack. Like, you need to have the ability to be able to hunt and provide food for yourself on the fly. Like, if I'm carrying anything, I'm carrying balance bars with me. Like, balance bars is nasty as hell. If you've ever eaten one of them, it's like eating chalk and sawdust with a little bit of nasty flavoring on top. But at the end of the day, one balance bar is a meal replacement. That joint fit in your pocket. You got a couple of those, and you can get through a week with carrying only a few ounces on you, and it works. You need to learn how to collect rainwater so that you can get fresh water and not have to deal with some of the water purification issues that you would have to deal with if society and the infrastructure falls down and water treatment plants don't work. And then two, from a topographic standpoint, you got to start looking at where is the safe place to hold up for a long period of time. Everybody joked around when I said this, but I'm heading to the coast. I'm grabbing me a boat. I'm heading down to Key West, Florida. I'm grabbing me a little island. Whoever ain't dead on the island is getting murked, and I'm holding up. Why? Because there's only one way in, there's one way out. It's surrounded by water. It's tropical, so you got tropical plants. You can fish, you can do some farming, and you can hold up and wait this out. That's just one example, but that's kind of how you got to look at it from a strategic standpoint.
Well, let me go ahead and say this, because we got a caller that's actually calling in right now, and calling from an 862 area code. So I want to ask this caller, welcome to the show. You're on with the Geeks. You have any questions or comments? Hello?
Hey, how you doing, you guys? It's Geek Soul Brother again.
Oh, Geek Soul Brother, what's up?
Going on?
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right.
Y'all got me cracking up over here with the zombie stuff. I'm laughing.
Oh, well. What's the funniest part so far? I think Lady K was
I think Lady K had the funniest. The rhythm method was definitely a highlight of the show. That's hilarious. That was hilarious. You guys have a good conversation. My question is, I don't know if you guys have mentioned it, but what kind of zombies are you talking about? You talking about the lumbering, slow-moving Walking Dead, or the Dawn of the Dead track star zombies? You
know what? You just introduced probably the big fight of the episode. Personally, I'm gonna go ahead and put out there. I'm gonna go with Max Brooks. He wrote the Zombie Survival Guide. He was like, if there is some kind of infection, whatever it is, a virus that reanimates the dead, there is no physiological way that there could be track star zombies. It just couldn't happen. if they're actually the undead, due to hand-eye coordination and stuff that happens physiologically, it's just impossible for a zombie to be able to run at any speed. So they would have to be the shambling zombies, and I think the shambling zombies are actually scarier in a way than the fast zombies, because hell, the fast zombies it'll be over before you start.
Yeah, you're right about that, because the pot belly ain't running.
All those fat people are in trouble.
That's pretty much everybody on the phone right now.
Yo, what they say in Zombieland, number one rule, cardio, we in trouble.
Exactly. No, that's good, because I think you could handle the slow-moving zombies. I mean, that you could survive against for a while at least.
Well, the problem, and I think most of the geeks agree, I think the biggest problem with the shambling zombies are that when they gather in hordes, like we all live like in practical, not urban like, New York City type area, but there's enough people here that if, and there's a lot of stupid people here too, we live in D.C. area. So, if a lot of people bite the bullet, you're talking about millions. That's a hell of a horde.
Yeah. Well, you got to get out the city. That's the first thing, is to get away from the city. And not be I guess in the country or like who said it, the island? Get the island. Try and get to an island.
Yeah, that was me.
The problem with that is when you're in a place like this, and I'm sure this ain't the only place in America like this. When the city is surrounded by urban places such as this, like those guys are out in Narnia, and I'm on a regular place. Well, what ends up happening is
hold on.
What ends up happening is
tell that lie.
even though it's not technically the city, quote unquote, there's a lot of people on the outskirts of the city. It's probably as many people outside the city, technically speaking, as there is actually in D.C. And that will be where the problem is to get to this country or this place that we speak of. You have to go through these places. You have to go through
all the zombie neighborhoods. Yeah.
Hey, one, I need to put this out here. Like, Mr. Wonderful is a liar. Like, Mr. Wonderful lives out in the middle of nowhere. Like, when you're going to Wonderful's house, you have to pass through civilization and then through Fantasyland. You see unicorns and all these other mythical beasts and creatures, and then you show up at Mr. Wonderful's house an hour and a half later, mad as hell, like, yo, you better have food, because if you don't, I'm going to be mad at you and I'm going to punch you in the eye. Like, that's how you get out of this house.
The only way you get to visit Potbelly and them is if you have a hyper warp drive in your car. The only way it's happening. The only way it's happening. We're getting off subject right now. The point
we're getting off subject. I don't want to bring out a map of the D.C. area.
I say all that to say, outside of putting Wonderful on blast for just being an out and out liar, strategically speaking, like, we're all in a place where, at some way, shape, or form, and I think that Lady K is the closest to the water, like, getting to the water and putting that physical barrier between you and the zombies, and then being able to figure out your next move from there, buys you a certain level of security in that regard. Like, even if you're planning out how to, hold up, you want to get a place that's as defensible as possible. And how do you make that place defensible? Like, having your back to a wall or having your back to a barrier like water means you only have to defend three sides, as opposed to having to look at things from all four sides. Right.
You definitely have to have, like, Walking Dead with that whole prison thing is an awesome idea.
Well, go ahead. No,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying the reality is, though, and the show takes some liberties. I think the comic book is much more realistic than the show, obviously, because they can draw it out, and but there's just so many issues, like for those who've read the comics, as well as the graphic novels, like The Rise of the Governor or The Road to Woodbury. They bring up a lot of these different issues, like travel is one of the biggest issues. It's not just the whole, because you got the main arteries are, like, done. Because you got to remember, people, especially if you live in D.C. area, New York, L.A., but that people already can't drive. Now imagine, it's the early days of the apocalypse, and you still got people thinking like, if you read World War Z, some of the little short stories they talk about people who didn't even really know what it was at first. They just thought, Susie got a bite and she's sick. We got to get her to the hospital. So you got all these people on the highway driving with potential zombies in the back seat.
Right.
So how many of those cars are going to flip, crash, whatever? So you got the main arteries are congested. So most of the country to travel is off a main artery. Like the whole East Coast is basically 95. And if any of the other roads congest, it's a wrap. So you driving may not even be practical at a point.
That's what they call road atlas for.
I was just going to say a dirt bike, a motorcycle, a dirt bike would be my choice.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's actually on my list of vehicles, must-have vehicles. That was going to be my follow-up article to the one I wrote earlier this week.
So let me ask this question. Okay, how many of you cats knows how to sail a boat?
I know the basics. I do know the basics.
So that's basically saying barely. Okay.
Right.
So that means so we got Potbelly that says he can sail a boat until we get one of those different type of Yacht 2010 joints, and he's going to be pretty much lost in the system. So that's what we need to do is focus on how to sail a boat if that's the plan, because ain't none of us know how to sail a boat. I've been on a boat.
I got a question.
But I don't know what it looked like.
So we decide that we're going to sail a boat, but again, we have to have a destination, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, like
so
Hawaii.
All of this, all the talk that we have in about
Key West is my destination
and moving somewhere. If you don't have a destination, like I said before, you're pretty much living nomadically, and then you're gonna need supplies. You got a boat. You can sail, but it's like that. What's that saying? All this water around, but none to drink. You're in the middle of the ocean. How you gonna have this?
I have a question for you, brilliant people. So you on this boat, and then you run out of gas, and what?
Let's sailboat. We
in the fucking ocean, huh?
We're using the wind to
I'm confused with where y'all going. And then Potbelly, you want a dirt bike, you run out of gas. Where the hell you going now?
All right. So for all my detractors,
You're going to get gas for how many days? So when the zombies come,
for all my detractors, one, F you, two, you bring gas with you.
I'm just saying.
You got to bring some gas with you.
Okay, you're going to be zombie food. It's fine.
Screw that. As long as I have my katana, damn it, I'm going to be okay.
Well, I'm telling y'all right now, and y'all can say what y'all want. For those who live in the area, I'm going to the nearest Marine Corps base. And y'all might say, oh, that's only because he was in the Marine Corps. No, I'm serious. The movies and The Walking Dead, they got it all wrong. I do not believe the military are going to fall apart.
I believe it's going to absolutely fall apart.
Yes, it will. Have y'all seen the show?
I believe. I don't think it'll be.
Some Marine is going to get into a drunken fight and get his bitten, and he's going to come in, and the whole damn Marine base is going to get.
At the end of the day.
Okay, hold up. Let me. I got an ally here. All right, Mr. Wonderful, you my ally. You know this.
Oh, that mercy.
Marines are generally crazy.
Absolutely.
If the stuff hits the fan, it's going to be martial or like a mug. Some sergeant somewhere is going to take over, and they're going to start murking. They shoot people and call it friendly fire now.
Okay, Coney, listening, right?
Yeah, but you know what? I want to go ahead and let our listeners know we actually run up on the end of our show. I want to thank all y'all for listening. We're actually about to do an after show. So if you're still on, you can listen to it. If it's still live, the stream is going to cut, or you can listen to us in the archive. So we're going to be doing the show, just, some afterthoughts and some wrap-up. Thank you all for listening. Stand by for part 2 of the show. We're also going to be doing this next week. Thank you for all for listening. Talk to you next week.
I got to say this, Darth, great music choice. Great music choice.
Yo, Lady K, she dropped. I said, wait.
You know what it is? I think, it's like we did before. We thought that because the music played that the show was done and that we were going to kind of call. She probably thinks I was gonna call a circle like we used to do.
That's cool.
Well,
Just tell Austin to pick her up on the conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, just call her on the phone or whatever and just merge her into your line or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got her number, right? 'Cause I think you're the only one calling from a cell phone.
Yeah, man, my damn phone fell out and I couldn't get back on.
All right, so just for everybody that's listening in the archive, we're doing the after show. This is something we started to do. We decided we're going to do it on the air because, quite frankly, this is what we do after every show anyway. And we had some of our greatest moments because we be acting really stupid, off the air. So for those who get, listen to after show, you might get a little bonus because we let our hair down a little bit. So so everybody's still with us? Are you still here, Geek Soul Brother?
Yeah, Geek Soul Brother's still here. And you're right. Some of the moments on my podcast, it's the best moments are on the after show. So, yeah, I'm sticking around.
Yeah. So
all right.
Let
me make this point. Let me make this point because it was bothering me this whole time from all the music and all of that. So let me just put this out there real quick. You're talking about the military going to fall apart.
Yes, sir.
So let me just say it like this. If you were the person in charge and you had somebody like me under you, do you honestly believe that if you didn't say something, that if you said anything or did anything that was counterproductive to what I felt was the mission at hand, which is stay alive, then I would just blindly follow you? You honestly believe that? I don't believe that.
Well, no. What I'm saying is there's going to be pockets like, let's be honest, we knew a bunch of cats when we were in that were all cool, that we hung out irregardless of what our rank was or where we worked. Those type of cats would pool together, and we'd pick off a couple of other people who got some kind of access. Granted, there's going to be massive falling apart at the higher levels. Well, I don't even know the dark Illuminati side of the government. I don't know. They might be good. They're going to go over to Mount Weather and lock the whole thing down and be straight.
So, they got that mountain they're going to hide in?
I just told you where it's at. It's Mount Weather.
We all know.
That's one of them. The other one I can't really say, but that's the one that's publicized because that's for like a nuclear fallout area. And so they're going to be okay. The upper echelons will be fine, but I think on the low
one
level,
of them dies. So one of them gets a heart attack, turns into a zombie, and then they're stuck with each other, and the zombie locked up with the zombie.
Well, that's good because they all locked up. Let them eat each other.
But I don't think I seriously don't think.
I just have one request. Let's put a zombie in the IRS first. Paying damn taxes.
Do you still think you're gonna get a tax bill?
Hell yeah, they're gonna stop taxing us.
Yeah, the IRS is persistent.
Dude, not
they
only
don't make phone calls no more. They making house calls. You owe 35%.
You're gonna be traveling down the road and getting held up by some dude at gunpoint like, did you pay your taxes this year?
Yeah, no doubt.
That's funny.
Are you serious?
This should be a graphic novel spin off The Tax Man. He got full body armor on. It's 2 years to the grass. It's like 3 of them were squad, and they knock on the door like, it's been 2 years.
Yeah, they had a whole episode. I don't know if y'all watch Black Dynamite on Adult Swim. If y'all don't, y'all need to watch that. They got a whole episode about the tax man chasing Black Dynamite.
Yeah, the tax man, that was hilarious.
But so we already saying the IRS is going to be good to go. They probably already got defenses like, yeah, we're going to still collect the money, one way or the other.
That's funny,
but.
I mean, if y'all think about it, though, we all, for the most part, we in the Mid-Atlantic. Like, we not in that area. Like, we in the Mid-Atlantic. We close to water. We close to major arteries. And we got, like, a lot of resources here. One of the things that I never really understood about The Walking Dead was that, you out there, and you in Georgia, there's a lot of dealerships, car dealerships, all types of everything. They big on bikes. They big on survivalist stuff out there, ATVs. Like, nobody ever grabbed the phone book and was just like, yo, this is what we have in this general area. Let's go hit up this dealership and get some ATVs, or let's go get some off-road vehicles. Let's go pick up, a couple of dirt bikes.
Let me put you on pause for a minute. First of all, we Black Geeks. And the first time 2 or 3 of us pull up at an ATV shop and try to swipe something, man, these white militias in this area will try to rip us apart. Let's get it real, man. Look, there's so many. I think there's been about 40 brand new militias created since Obama got back in office. That's not counting the several hundred that's been out there. I've been looking around doing these searches on sites. There's only one black militia to maybe 200 or 300 white militias. You got to what you're going to do.
And
you know,
the
my
KKK
first thing was
their membership has been through the
when
roof.
they hit the fan, I'm going to the gun shop and grab me some ammo. But then I had to think, first time I walk in the door, after the German Shepherd bite my nuts, excuse me, I wasn't supposed to say that, bleep that out. But after the German Shepherd kick my behind, then they going to shoot me. We got to be more progressive and smart in how we approach things because of the color of our skin, because racism is not going to change.
Listen, I Ghost, like I know. You stacking ammo and I'm stacking ammo.
But it's going to go, and it's heavy. It's heavy. If I start stacking stuff up, I'm going to need a truck.
But you know what? I think ultimately the lightweight is the best route. I think
Absolutely.
It's just like on The Walking Dead. You got Michonne. Michonne key to survival.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, Michonne claim to fame in the comics and on the show is she just got a katana and a backpack.
Absolutely.
I mean, she's using the zombies as pack mules as well too, but she'd be just equally as effective with a backpack.
Absolutely.
Because
all you need is some basic tools. My thing is, when I go in the woods, I take things that I can't recreate in the woods. So I don't take, tent spikes. I don't take things that I know that I can make in the woods. I don't really need to take a sleeping bag and a tent and all of those things because I know how to build shelters and I know how to build a raised bed and things like that. So my bow, I can't recreate that in the woods. Actually, I could. It just takes too much time. So I'm going to carry my bow. That's my number one thing. If I can't take nothing else, I'm taking my knife and my bow because I know
we're going to nickname you
an arrow anytime.
So we all had to pick a character on The Walking Dead that we gravitate to. You would be Daryl, right?
I would be Daryl.
Potbelly, we're going to say you'd be more like Michonne. You already got the katana skills.
Unfortunately, I'd have to be a lesbian in this one. Yes, I will be Michonne.
All right. Who are you, Lady K? Is Lady K still on?
Yeah,
okay. We'll just get to Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful, who are you on The Walking Dead?
I'm going to be Rick.
Rick? Oh, okay.
I hear that.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. I think I'm more like a Shane type person.
Good. No.
I'm quick to throw the rules out for the New World Order. Shoot kneecap people so I can survive. Whatever I got to do.
Wow.
But see, that's what I was talking about in the article that I wrote. Like in my opinion, the biggest reason why people fail to make it in this new environment is because they refuse to accept this new environment. They keep trying to draw parallels to their old life and recreate their old life, instead of accepting the fact that things done changed and they gonna be this way for the foreseeable future. So start getting your hands dirty. Like you can't look at it like civil society is still around. Like nobody's coming to save you. Like either you save yourself or you're done. Everything around you is dangerous. So the minute you accept that you're in a constant state of danger and act accordingly, the longer you'll make it.
So
actually, let me retract my statement.
Being a group of renegades and just marauding like everybody else in order for us to survive. I don't know if that would work out because it's hard for people. It's hard for me to think that I'm gonna have to take my everyday life and completely throw it away and just have to either kill or be killed all the time. At some point,
and that is why
your brain needs to relax from the stress. And if you don't, you get sloppy, and then you get dead.
That's why I will retract my statement. I wouldn't be Rick. or at least I'll be the newer Rick, but I'll probably be on some Carl. I'll be like Carl because I could be emotionally dead to death.
I was going to say the same thing. I'll be like Carl.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Dito, but we didn't get to ask you who you are.
While he's a child, he represents a very simplistic look at things.
Absolutely.
He's an enemy, shoot him. Not an enemy, you can stay until you start tripping, then you get shot. Simple as that. There's no in between. There's no.
Even if you my mother, you can get a bullet too.
Basically.
I ain't saying that.
He's a threat. He's
they
a threat
related.
to the camp.
They
really? Y'all not trying to kill him? Y'all not trying to kill him? He's a threat to the camp? Don't worry, I'll do it. I'll do it. Don't worry about it.
Let me interject.
My mom turned into a zombie. Oh, okay. I'll do it. No hesitation. No thought. Needs to get done. I'm all about that. Can I inject a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
This younger generation, I got a son that just turned 18. He said he would love a zombie apocalypse. He could go around kill zombies all day. That would be his dream job, right?
Oh.
So I'm wondering, is the younger generation that's all about games and shooting zombies in the head and this and that, would they survive, or would they be used to a zombie apocalypse as opposed to the old generation?
They're not going to survive because they're used to the fantasy of it. That when the reality sets in, they're going to pee their pants.
The reality is they all see themselves as like Nicolas Cage in Zombieland, wandering around ass kicking, looking for Twinkies. You know, but the reality is,
dude, that wasn't Nicolas Cage.
Wasn't it Nicolas Cage?
No,
you know what? That's
Woody
Harrelson. You know they have similar personality when they get into those certain roles. That's the only role
Woody Harrelson is a way better actor.
Yeah, but my point is that's how they see themselves. And the reality is, like, for me personally, my biggest challenge, I think, was on 9/11. You know, I don't want to get all political, but at that stage in my life, I was in the military, and it was a big game to me. I was in the Marine Corps, but I didn't think of it as this is something I, do to fight. It was more of a job, But when shit hit the fan, and I thought it was for real, and I was like, oh, shoot, that was the first time I manned up, like, for real, and knew that I could do whatever was necessary to get done. So I think when that happens, if the zombie apocalypse happens, that's when you're going to really see